Hi, everybody. John Harris here with you. I am with my pal, Bad Boy Billy Smith, and
Hey, Johnny. Long time no see, my friend.
haven't been able to see you for a while or talk to you much lately. You got a lot going on, as I'm going to tell everybody that I do. I don't want to sound like I'm sitting at home waiting for people to talk to me. So, F that. Um, and Bill, you know better than that. I could sit at home and be happy with no one talking to
Oh
me.
yeah. Yeah, no, that's for sure.
I mean, it's like, Johnny, we haven't seen or heard from you in like 4 days, and you live here. You alive? Yeah, unless you smell something bad, dude, I'm not dead. I'm good. Because I could care less. The other night I was at an improv thing, Bill, and they had this game we were doing, and it mostly for fun. I think only one time have we went out to do anything, but it's a nice workshop with some cool people. So we're doing this improv thing, and the game was kind of go up and somebody was giving you a suggestion as to what you would want to talk about.
Hmm.
This one girl knew me so well from all the shit I've said in there for the last year. She was like, somebody give John a suggestion. John's disdain for the public.
That's
And you
all.
had to do 3 lines like on the spot. And I had no problem doing it. John's disdain for the public. And I was like, it's great. It's accurate. Humans suck. Thank you. But everybody was like, oh my God, that's so great. It was like I've got the point where like a lot of my t-shirts say, I just don't care.
Care.
It don't matter to me. So um I want to thank you for taking the time, Bill. I know you got a lot going on. One little thing is medical. I hope you're okay with that. I hope that goes through. Sorry, I didn't mean to play on
Goes through.
words. Hope that goes through.
I'm
Okay.
hoping it does too.
uh, as well as some situations with your family medically as well. We hope for all the best and the best outcome you can possibly have there. And so I know it's tough for you to find the time. Thank you. Roger has been busy as well. All kinds of things ever since becoming a new dad. He's been running around like crazy. He's got six, and now
Yeah.
one of them's an infant. So he's
Yeah. When you have a hockey team, you're
you
always
got
on the
it's
go.
true. You got a hockey team. I mean, right now it's tryouts. Who's picking who's going to be the goalie? Who's going to be the center? It's a lot to deal with. You got to train these kids up. So yeah, but Roger's kind of busy. So, but he did send in a pick, and thank him for taking the time to do that. All that being said, Bill, let's get to it. Kansas City Chiefs, Philadelphia Eagles in New Orleans. Philadelphia is apparently the home team, but that doesn't matter on the betting scale when they're at a neutral site. Though it sounds like for some reason there's a lot more Eagles fans in New Orleans than Kansas City, from what I've gathered. Uh,
Yeah.
the point spread is 1 point. The Chiefs are giving the Eagles one. That could change either way before the game because since Friday, well, since we started, but actually since Friday, it has went from 2 points to a pick 'em, even up, and then 1.5, and now back down to one. And I'm sure that's only because of betting trends. There's been no injury news or anything like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. It's basically a coin flip.
It's
Doesn't.
Yep. Yeah, I don't expect 28-27, which would be a push at this point. But if you're going to bet on the game, make sure you know what that point spread is before you do it, folks, because it has fluctuated between 1 and 2, well, 0 and 2. So if you have a preference, make sure you know where your line is.
Mhm.
All that being said, Bill, it's time to do a little analysis of the game. We'll go over last week's picks, though. I kicked myself in the ass because you guys both took uh, you took Washington against Philly across the board. The last game, I shouldn't say last week, last game. Roger took Washington across the board. I took Philly to win the game, had Philly to do the spread, crossed it out and put Washington. So I feel like a failure. I gave up. I gave up because I don't see it here. It has Philly crossed out on the spread and then Washington. Uh, so I can't even really claim a victory either, really. So I can claim one though. You and Roger both took Buffalo, and I held on to the Chiefs. Uh, all of us across the board. So I'll take that win. For the postseason, game results, Bill, even up game results with no point spread. You're 7-4. I'm 6-5. Roger 6-5. So nice job. Uh, Against the spread, however, you're 6 push. Oh, you're still doing good. But I did 7-3 with a push, and Rogers 5-5 with a push. Um, one of them. I think the first Washington game was a 3-point game.
Yeah.
Was the spread. So we all got a push there. Um, so that's where our totals are for postseason. Um, and so when you add that to the regular season percentages, we're still right where we were, really. Um, so we're here. We're ready for the big game. Can tell you that Roger picked Philadelphia across the board. He took the Eagles to win the game and to cover whatever spread is going to be. Like we said, it's not going to be any more than 2, and it could be 0 by game time. Uh, I've watched some of the coverage off and on. I'm trying not to get inundated. Believe it or not, I'm sure you believe it. NFL Network already has a countdown show going on. The game's like 48, well, now 36 hours away or whatever. There's already a countdown show. Uh, we're filming this on Saturday, folks, at about what? A little after 12 Central. And the game's not till 5:30 Central tomorrow. So you're looking at about 32 hours away, and it's already a countdown. I haven't seen a countdown this long since the moon thing. I mean, it's unbelievable. Or New Year's Eve. We count down so far away for things, especially sports. It's just crazy. Um, but there you have it. That is your countdown. People are analyzing the heck out of the game. Analysts, at least the ESPN, most of their crew, the ones on camera have picked mostly, it's close. Like we'll say if there's 10, they're like going 6-4 Philly. But there was a whole list of them, of all the analysts that would be involved in all the shows, and it would come down to 6-4 Kansas City. So I think everybody's on the same page as they think it's going to be a good game.
Mhm.
Of course, it's going to depend on a lot of things. What do you think your take is? I don't mean your pick yet.
Yeah. No, I think and that's why the point spread is the way it is. I kind of like Kansas City has the edge at coaching with all the experience
Right.
and whatnot. I think
Mm-hmm.
they got the edge at quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the Eagles have the edge at running back. Um, I think the Eagles have the edge in defense. But I think if anything, Andy Reid puts a game plan down, and I think if I'm him, and if I guess this is what he's going to do is shut down Barkley and worry about Hurts and the receivers beating you.
Yeah, I seem to be hearing that, and it seems to make the most sense. Is that make Jalen Hurts beat you with his arm, um, or at least make him beat you. I'm watching the ESPN crawl and it just said pick them again. So that's changed since about 3 hours ago. Um, so that's what we were saying about if you are going
Yeah,
to bet on it, keep an eye on it because it's just going to bounce, I think, back and forth right until kickoff.
yeah, yeah, no
I,
doubt.
I think it's going to be 1-0, 1-0.
Hmm.
When it is a point, it seems to be Kansas City giving it up, but it's so close. Yeah, I think Kansas City is going to concentrate on trying to stop or at least contain Barkley, make Jalen Hurts beat you with his arm. But the key also is can you stop Jalen Hurts with his legs? I think that could be a key as well. If the guys are covered and they've slowed down Barkley, you could see Jalen Hurts roll out and take some designed runs. Uh, that's it's going to be tough. I think you're right. The Eagles have an edge on defense, but what I really think is the Eagles may have the advantage on the offensive line.
Yes, yeah, no doubt.
And to me, a lot of times games are decided by offensive and defensive lines.
Hmm.
Uh, their D line, I think both lines are Philly gets the edge. They have playmakers, but Kansas City's developed their playmakers as well. Kareem Hunt might be
Hmm.
able to run some. Pacheco, they're more of a running back by
Yeah,
committee.
Worthy could run and you know.
Worthy could run on an end around. Pirine seems to be making second and third down or big third and fourth down
Hmm.
catches. Uh, you still got Travis Kelce to worry about. I think that's an advantage for Kansas City. Though Goddard's not bad, he's not Travis
Yeah,
Kelce.
yeah. Speaking of Kelsey, I wasn't too impressed how even though the Eagles won last week, but they let Ertz have like a dozen catches and 130
Yep.
some yards. I mean, you can't. You got to be able to come up
If
and put somebody on
yeah,
Kelsey, or it's going to be the same thing.
yeah. And here's the thing: Ertz was running patterns. Now Kelce
Hmm.
will start out with a pattern, but he'll break it off, and Mahomes will know what he's doing.
Yep.
That's hard to cover for anybody.
Hmm.
Um, which is why I think the Fangio may go to some kind of a zone. If he does that, it's a lot less pressure because the Eagles are probably not going to blitz much. Fangio doesn't blitz very much. They're going to try and get a lot of pressure from their front four.
Hmm.
They may blitz on occasion. You
Right.
get a third and 15. Yeah, but they also have to be careful because as we've seen in the postseason, Mahomes will run the ball.
Yeah.
He's done that more in the postseason than he did during the regular season. They don't like him to run the ball. They don't like to call designed runs for him because of what happened years ago when the Chiefs were doing their version of the tush push
Hmm.
and uh, Mahomes got tackled and his kneecap was out and he was out for the rest of the season, I think. Definitely out for 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So they don't like to run him, and I don't blame him. I mean, to me, he's the franchise. You know, without him, I mean, if anything happened and they had to put Carson Wentz in, to me, that game is over.
Ooh, yeah.
Unless they already have a big lead, that game is over.
Yeah. No doubt.
Yeah, and the Eagles would know Carson Wentz anyway. So, and that's if he hasn't turned into a scrub. Um,
Hmm.
he's done. He won't do enough to beat Philly. So I think they'll be limited, but they still are going to need to watch Mahomes. He could scramble out of the pocket
Yeah.
and just get that big first down. He's not going to try and run 50, 60 yards.
Yeah.
He'll get you that first down and get out of bounds or slide or whatever. A lot of talk is going into officiating. A lot of people are thinking that the Chiefs are getting all the calls, which has weirdly, very strangely, Bill,
Hmm.
given given Philly to be a fan favorite. That doesn't happen very
No,
often for Philly.
not often at all.
No, but a lot of people are rooting for Philly because they're thinking Kansas City's getting all the calls all season long. And I don't know about that. There have been some calls that are uh, maybe should be examined or something. Um, but I think part of that is Kansas City's on somewhere nationally like every week.
Hmm.
I think that happens with every team. We just don't see it.
We don't see it yet.
That's what it is. We don't see Jacksonville getting hosed on a call. You don't see Cleveland getting hosed on
Right.
call. Um, don't get me wrong; those teams are still scrubs, but yeah, what was the old Bill Murray line I love to use, or the Chevy Chase line? They're not. They're not. They're not good. It's like the understatement of the year. So
But
it's
they
good.
got to get back into, they got to do the off season, and I think that a lot more calls need to be called from upstairs, and they could just buzz down and say, look, there was a face mask you missed,
Right, you missed.
or
Yes.
or a defensive receiver, he didn't get hit,
Yep.
it looked like he got hit but he didn't, and
Yeah. I
they got to
mean,
buzz down there and just say
to
no,
say,
that's
hey, this was missed. I mean,
yeah,
I could see not doing it for holding, offensive holding, because you
right,
can do that every play. You're
right,
going to definitely slow down the game. Let the officials make the calls for offensive holding because I think they're picking the most egregious ones, which is probably all you can do.
right.
Uh, but you're right. I think maybe defensive holding, they could do it on if it's obvious, or a pass interference if it's obvious. Face mask, definitely. Um, you see a blow to the head or a late hit or a horse collar. Yeah, I think that I forget the term for it, but they used it a little bit this year for certain things.
Hmm.
That real quick, um, I don't know. Oh, replay assist. And I do like the idea, and that's exactly what you're talking about, really, if you think about it. You don't have to call it replay assist, but you can call it whatever.
Hmm.
Some kind of instant assist or something, whatever. Title doesn't matter. I think you're right. There are some calls, if the officials get them wrong, like I've seen it for incomplete passes, the ball did drop and
Right.
they've changed it.
Hmm.
That's been good. So I think if they stay within that realm, it'd be great. And it could actually speed up the game.
Hmm.
And it alleviates something for me personally. I don't like the head coach having to lose a timeout if they question a
Yeah,
call,
I don't like it either.
especially if it's a close call. Oh, well, it stands. Well, that usually means it's not confirmed, but it's not unconfirmed, that they couldn't tell. So why does the coach lose? Why does the team lose a timeout? I just think there's a fairness issue there. Um, Now, some of that I think would drop off with what you're talking about with a replay assistant kind of thing.
Hmm.
Um, so I do like that. Obviously, it won't be in play for the Super Bowl, but
No, no.
right after this, they should kind of revamp it a little bit, add a little bit more to it, because I like its idea. Um, and it should only be for things that they can see, which is the same thing they're going to show you on TV anyway.
Right, right.
Um,
Yeah. And let's face it, we just want to get it right. I mean,
right. That's all
that's
you
the
want.
whole
You want to
point.
get it right. And replay assist is quicker. I don't
Hmm.
know if you've noticed, but it's been a lot quicker. It's
Hmm.
like they'll make the call and then they go after replay assist, boom. It's like within seconds. Somebody has seen it, overturned it, told the ref, here we go.
Yep.
A lot quicker than the ref having to go under some hoodie, uh, well, not a hoodie,
Yeah.
and try to watch it, or on a tablet and try to watch the play from a million different angles.
Yeah.
And human nature, too, the ref's going to have to see something obvious because he doesn't want to overturn the call on the field for him or his colleagues, and it makes him look like shit.
Right. Right.
But your point is the best point. Let's do what we got to do to get it right.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, especially, and it's not even almost, for the teams itself. I mean, a lot of people have a lot of money on these games,
I was just going to say
and
it's the money factor too now. NFL is
mhm,
in bed with all these legal gambling operations now.
mhm,
Uh,
mhm.
so now you got to make sure that everybody's on the up and up and every call is right because you could literally have millions of dollars riding on a bet
Yep.
on a call. So I think you're right about that. I think state of the NFL, they need to address that a little better.
Mhm.
But so when we look at the game, we'll get back to this actual game.
Yeah.
Um, I can see why it would be tough. Um, the best overall analysis I heard is if the Chiefs control the ball with the short passes, and as the old Chiefs coach Hank Stram used to say, matriculate the ball down the field. Um, Almost wore a fedora because that was what Hank Stram was going to wear.
Mm-hmm.
The old coaches, Lombardi, Landry, those guys. But I couldn't figure out a way to show that I root for both teams. This game will suck for me to watch, like it was 2 years ago. I did find myself during the game basically rooting for the offenses. Don't know why, but when either team had the ball, I was hoping they would score.
Yeah.
Other, you know, the only good part about it is, at least for our show, is it is pretty objective. It's like I am not really rooting for either team at this point. I really am not. Now that might change by kickoff tomorrow. I don't know. There are so many backstories for both teams that you hope either one could win it. You got DeAndre Hopkins, who's never been to a Super Bowl. His mother's blind, and she got, you got that backstory that you'd like to win one for her, that kind of thing. A three-peat situation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then you got Philly, and you got guys there. AJ Brown's never been to a Super Bowl. Of course, a lot of the younger guys haven't. Um, you got guys that feel like they want to do a little redemption thing since it's the Chiefs. Jalen Hurts to prove himself. Sirianni could, really prove himself if he
Mm-hmm.
somehow wins this game. Um, so you've got backstories on both sides that are really interesting, and you almost, if you're a fan of either team, you would say, "Oh yeah, I want to." Plus, now the Hertz and Sirianni supposedly both have felt disrespected by the media coverage all season, and now they're getting some positives, but
All right.
felt disrespected, so they have something to prove. But then you go to Kansas City, and you got people saying, "Well, the Chiefs are only there because of all the referee calls," so now they're feeling slighted.
Mm-hmm.
Both sides are going to
Yeah.
have a chip on their shoulder, technically.
Yeah.
Um, and of course, if there's any questionable call, the fans are going to
Oh, that's
if
gonna
it
be.
goes for Kansas City.
Yeah.
Um, so it's all those backstories make this, and
Yeah.
they are pretty even, make this a game that's good, should be entertaining to watch, no matter what
Yeah.
the.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be a slugfest, and it should go back and forth. Um, as far as I was saying, Andy Reid will probably try to shut down Barkley. I think that's where the Eagles should throw to Barkley,
That's a
uh,
good point.
and that way there because Hurts has a tendency of holding on to the ball. So
Too
if you're
long.
doing the
Yes.
little swing passes, that's going to help. But if you
Yep.
hold on the ball, Jones is going to be all
Jones is
over
going to be
there.
in that backfield as well as
So
Karlaftis.
yeah. So I mean,
And yeah, so, and I would bet you that either Karlaftis or Bolden will be, or both, a combination of, assigned to watch Hertz. Could be Karlaftis to watch Hertz and the line to keep an eye on Barkley.
yeah,
You know, but the thing is, Spagnola loves to blitz, and he doesn't just pass blitz; he'll run blitz.
yeah,
So, I mean, it could be either a great day for Barkley or the other extreme, and he's almost shut down. I think it'll be one extreme or the other. Of course,
hmm
the great day for Barkley probably means Philly wins.
yeah. I agree.
Uh, so, and that's the key, is running the football. If Philly can run the football, they'll control the clock. The longer you can keep Patrick Mahomes off the field, the better off you are.
hmm
Uh, and I agree with everybody that if Mahomes has the ball last and it's winnable, The Chiefs will probably win it, no matter what.
Yeah,
He could throw 2 for 21 all game. Terrible day passing. If he has the ball last and it's 31-28, uh, Kansas City will probably win 35-20, thirty-five
yeah,
31 or something, or tie it and go into overtime.
yeah. Well, the other thing we haven't mentioned yet would be the special teams, especially kicking. The Eagles stuck with their kicker, and I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know if I would have, but
I don't know. I give him credit because he's made big kicks in the past, but this season, not very consistent. He's
yeah,
made some kicks like
yeah, and I would get
30 some
Bucker.
40-yard range.
Yeah, I mean, I get Bucker a big advantage
Yep.
there. So,
Yep. Even though he was playing hurt for a bit, he's back in there,
mm,
and I think you got to give them the edge. Um, I also think though Philly's punter is pretty good. Ariza, if he's not the best, he's one of the top 2 or 3 in the league for Kansas City, as
mm,
far as distance and pinning the ball inside the 15. He's almost a weapon. So yeah, you gotta watch that. Now for Philly, Shipley has become a really good returner lately, and they have another young guy too. Um, so they've had a couple guys who have been giving them big returns. But Kansas City's got a new guy, and I can't remember his name either. It's terrible. Um, and he's been returning uh, kickoffs and punts, and to me now it's kickoff. If you get it past the 30, you're doing your job. It used to be if you get it past the 20 because of
mm.
the touchback rule. Uh, I just saw a note. Dick Jerome died.
Yeah,
Pittsburgh old defensive coordinator and great great NFLer in the Hall of Fame. Just show he passed away last night. So now the point spreads back to 1 for Kansas City, giving it up
yeah.
again. Yeah. So um,
But the other thing would be, and there's a handful of teams that do it now. Is they go for it on fourth down, no matter if it's 4th and 3, they still
both
go
of these
for it.
teams do that. If it
So,
gets to their own 40-yard line, these
mhm,
two teams, both of them, are liable to go for it.
yeah,
Philly more, I think, because they use the tush push a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if they try some kind of a fake off the tush push and throw a pass, even a short one,
mm,
uh, because they know Kansas City's looking for it. The Chiefs were able to stop it a couple times in Buffalo when they tried their version. So it wouldn't surprise me if Philly does one of two things: either run Barkley up the middle, have Hurts on a different kind of a sneak, or put the formation in, fake like you're going to do the tush push and throw a pass, just a quick one.
mm,
Uh, that could happen. So uh, it wouldn't surprise me if that happens. Of course, the problem with the pass, if a guy drops it or the quarterback screws it up, you've lost fourth down.
yeah,
You've lost the ball. But I think it's something they're going to look at doing, that might be depending on where the ball is.
mm,
Cross midfield, they'd probably do that. If it's behind the 50, probably wouldn't do it because you wouldn't want to give the ball away there because the risk is higher. You'd do the tush push, but you wouldn't do a pass, maybe.
yeah.
All that being said, Bill, I guess it's about time we make a pick. Um, and again, you can have it who's going to win, and then against the other. If you want to put who you're rooting, let us know who you're rooting for too. That would be pretty cool. Because one of us should have a rooting interest. I don't. Of
um, you
course,
know,
sometimes it's because of your pick.
yeah,
You say I'm rooting for them because I picked them. Yeah,
yeah. Well, like I said, we know Roger took the Eagles across the board.
yes,
Um, I'm a kind of a ball buster because a lot of my friends are Eagle fans.
you are. You
So,
are.
so, if I pick the Eagles, that means they would lose. So, I mean, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean,
And if you want him to lose, that's the way you're going to go.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm in a win-win situation.
I
But
win even when I lose. Yeah.
yeah, I just like getting the jabs in there. I mean,
Yeah.
but I don't know. The three-peat is unheard of in
Yep.
football. Um,
And then it's about
Andy Reid,
you
Andy
want
Reid
that to
grew on me
happen. Yeah.
over the years. Andy Reid's really grown on me, and I give him credit for. I mean, I know he has other coaches that help him out, but
Well, yeah, but he hires them. So
but
he's
yeah,
also making those decisions too. I
and
mean,
and he lost coaches through the years, and he's
and he replaced
still
them,
up there.
and he
So
still gets his guys. I mean, who
so
thought Matt Nagy would be able to resurrect at least his offensive
yeah,
coordinator
yeah,
staff?
yeah.
Andy Reid got him in there. He's had him before, so
Hmm.
he knew the system. And like you said, the enemy gone. Let me bring this guy in.
Yeah,
So let's work. If Spagnuolo doesn't get a head coaching job, which it doesn't look like he is now, um, he's going to be in Kansas City again next year. You can't miss on that deal.
yeah.
So,
So with that being said, as
as I
my
love to say,
my
yes.
quote,
Yep.
I'm
We both like to do it. With all that being said,
gonna go.
Jacksonville. Oh, no, wrong.
We're gonna go Chiefs 31
Yeah.
and the Eagles 20.
Ooh, you're picking a bigger spread. Wow. KC.
And the reason why they're gonna get 20 is Elliott's gonna miss an extra point.
Wow. Picking KC 31 to
And
20.
the funny thing is, with a big spread like that, Kansas City, I think most of their games have been within, under
Under a
4 points, I think.
score.
Yeah,
Yeah, under a touchdown at least.
yeah.
Score.
So, but that's what I'm going with.
Bill taking KC
So
31.
now you got to, like I said, Roger took the Eagles, I took the Chiefs. Now it comes down to you, big guy.
Yeah, it does. Man. And it's not even like with that 1 point spread, it's not even like I could say KC to win the game, but Eagles to cover. I got no backup plan. They took it away, you fuckers. Oh, just made this a non kids program. Last one of the year. Why not? Last few I haven't slipped this one. Um, man, see, I haven't in my head, I haven't done it yet. I think as much as I think the Eagles have better personnel overall, and as much as I think they have that, I think the Chiefs have better coaching overall. Slightly, slightly. I will say Vic Fangio has grown on me. First few games of the season, plus what I've seen, uh, I wasn't that impressed. But I will say that ever since week 5, they've been lights out. Um, they are considered the best defense in the league. Defense wins championships. Took Zach Bond, who was basically a scrub, almost a practice squad guy, and made him an all pro by changing his position and teaching him a couple things. The guy probably owes his career and whatever elevated salary he gets to Vic Fangio. Um, it's man, it's tough. I am going to say because, and I think I've said it all season, I won't pick against the Chiefs until they lose because of Patrick Mahomes. I will. I think I even did it one week and regretted it because they didn't. They covered a spread that I thought they wouldn't cover, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know who I'm rooting for. I'm trying to take the heart out of it. and go with my head, which is what we're supposed to do, really, as far as the betting, the odds, I think it's going to be Kansas City. I think it'll be close. I think it'll be high scoring, but not extremely. I don't think in the 40s. I think it could be like the last time they played, I think it was 31-28 in the Super Bowl.
Mhm.
I wouldn't surprise me if it's along those lines again, 34,
Yeah,
30.
because I think the over under is 48.5. Last I looked.
Yeah, I would take the over.
Yeah.
I would take the over. Um, I did see that, and you're right. That's what it was. This morning it was 48 and a half. I think I will go Kansas City, and I think it'll be instead of saying 31-28, I'll say 34-31, that kind of a thing. But if it's a higher score than that, I think Philly will win. Uh, and let's face it, the key is stopping Saquon,
Hmm.
make Hurts be in the air. Um, for Philly defensively, I think it's going to be coverage. I think
Yeah. I mean, I think
go down and run, but
Mitchell will. I think he'll cover Hopkins, but that's where the Chiefs have a little bit more. I mean, they could bring in two back in tight ends and throw to them
yeah,
Gray and Watson
yeah,
and
two back.
uh,
I was going to say two
yeah,
backup tight ends
yeah,
there.
and then you got the who else? Worthy and
Oh, now
Juju.
you
I
got
mean,
Hollywood Brown now who looked
and you
really
got Hollywood
good.
Brown. So I mean,
So
a lot more weapons. Where
yeah,
the Eagles really have the two, then the tight end. I
right.
mean, Dotson's come on a little bit, but I think that's where it gets cut off at right there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they drafted the one kid who's tall as hell, but I haven't seen him hardly get open all season long when he has
Hmm.
been. So, yeah, Dotson's come on a little bit. Uh, Calcaterra's been a little better as a backup tight end for Philly, but Goddard and him are no match for Kelsey, Watson, and Gray.
Hmm.
I think you're right there. And that could be a big thing because, boy, they block great too. Kelsey downfield, especially, uh,
Hmm.
and Gray, they block. They're like linemen when they're out there blocking. That's a big difference there. But Philly's offensive line, you get Dickerson and Lane Johnson pulling out,
Hmm.
and Jurgens now the center. They've kind of taught him how to be Jason Kelsey a little bit and learn how to pull. But I think the Chiefs have the edge because you got Captain Clutch at quarterback. And here's the other part, Bill. It's been 2 weeks, and you were talking about Andy Reid. To me, this is Andy Reid in a bye. And Andy Reid in a bye in 10 games wins seven, almost eight.
Hmm.
And this is a bye week. They make adjustments. He does whatever he has to do, and they play tremendously. And he was that way in Philly. If you give Andy Reid a bye, that's even more time for him to make those adjustments. So I'm putting the bye, Captain Clutch, and enough defense that I think Kansas City will edge
Yeah.
out the Chiefs and get the three, or the Eagles and get the three-peat.
Yeah. Now, here's one for you. If the Chiefs win, you think Andy goes to the sunset?
No,
No. Okay.
no, I don't think so. Um, I think if not just him, I think the Chiefs want him to pass because he's within reach of Belichick for all-time wins. He's in reach to be the number one guy. I think they all want him to do that, and I think pride factor he wants to do that.
Yeah.
Um, so I think he could be a year or two away, barring health issues or.
Yeah.
Um, plus, I think he's going to be pretty excited to come back because next season He'll have Rashee Rice back.
Yeah,
So you got Rice, Worthy. If you keep Hopkins,
yeah,
matter of do you keep Schuster, who's made some bigger
yeah,
catches?
yeah.
You still got all those weapons, and Pacheco should be a lot healthier,
And I guess if you got players that like playing for you,
and they love playing for him.
yeah. So I mean,
So I think now they're going to lose. This is a heartbreaker. They're going to lose Carson Wentz.
now how about Kelsey? You think he retires?
I think I give it about a 20% chance. There is a chance, um, but I don't. I think if they win, it's a bigger chance because then it's going out on top.
Right.
Obviously, he has a lot of off-field interests, uh, and he has a lot of off-field ways to make money. I mean, he's got the game show on Prime. He's still on the podcast with Jason, and then he'll get offers to broadcast out the wazoo,
Yeah.
whether it's on ESPN or Prime or somewhere else. He'll get whether it's studio or whether it's games. Uh, I would venture he would prefer studio because of his relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would be more steady rather than flying city to city to city to city.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that plays a part into it too. How much does she like watching him play?
Yeah.
Schedule is bad. That sucks. I'd rather be with you more. Or I love it when you play.
Yeah. Love it when you play.
Yeah,
You're
because she doesn't
she's
need
st-
the money. We
oh
know
well,
that.
yeah,
So,
and she's still in the limelight. So I
right,
mean, you know, I mean,
right. They made the schedule work, but she was on this big tour. Now she's not really on that tour. Now she
right.
could do another one at any time. Um, which then it would take up more than a year or whatever. Do they want to go through that? And if they're really locked in, like we're our future is a we, then yeah, I could see it. I could
Hmm.
see it. He could say, I've made enough. I'm done taking a beating. I could be in a studio, still do a game show, whatever.
Yeah.
Uh, so it's a good question. I say right now between a 20-25% chance. I think it is bigger chance if they win. He may want to
Yeah.
go out on top.
Yeah. I agree.
If they lose and it's a close one, he may say, let's run it back again and prove who we are. But the three-peat, I'm going down in history. Time
Yeah.
to go.
And the last question I got for you, what
Yeah.
do you think? What's the over under they show Taylor Swift?
Oh God, there's got to be a betting line out there. Over. Oh, that's how many times? Over under. See, that might depend on how well Kelsey and or the Chiefs do.
Yeah.
See, that goes back into the actual game. They'll show her in the beginning. I'm sure they'll show her somewhere near halftime or right
Yeah.
after halftime. Um,
I'm gonna go over a dozen.
wow, 12 is high. You're saying 13 or more. I might go under that, but not by much. And like we said, it's going to depend on the
The
game.
NFL wants to show her. Let's put it that way.
Well, that's true. That's true. The NFL is going to want to show her as much as they can, but they also have to keep it with kind of within the framework of the game. But Fox
Yeah.
is gonna, they probably already got their edict, anytime you can, show her. Now they may not show her if the Chiefs aren't doing well.
True.
And that might be a thing. If the Chiefs don't do well, they don't want to show her
Well, they might want to show her, yeah, with the sad face.
once, not so happy, but that'll knock down your 13 or more, though. If
Yeah,
the Eagles come
absolutely.
out
Yeah,
and start wrecking it, then you probably a catch or two when he does well, maybe in the beginning. And after that, if the
well,
Eagles,
I see him getting, I think 7 catches and close to 100 yards. I really do,
I was
because I
saying
mean,
5 or 6 and about
yeah,
80
yeah,
with a touch, he'll get it.
yeah,
I think he'll get a touchdown. Uh, I think 5 or 6 catches close to 80 yards, a touchdown. I could see that.
Yeah.
Or more, or more. Um, I think Kareem Hunt will probably get a short touchdown. Um,
I think Worthy scores, whether it's on a run
that's
or
going to be the key. Can you keep
yeah.
Worthy and or Mahomes out of the end zone
Mm,
if you're Philly? Um, they might try and get one to DeAndre Hopkins because of all the years. Because I'm
mm,
not sure if he's not under contract, if they keep him, he might be a 1 year deal
yeah.
and they let him go. Um,
I
okay.
think he is.
Is it a 1 year deal?
Pretty sure. Let's see.
It wouldn't surprise me if they picked up because I don't remember them giving up a whole lot for him. And I think it was uh, somebody trying to get rid of his salary for the rest of the season. He didn't have
Let's
to take a cap hit.
We'll
I
pay
think
him 2.5 million for the remaining 8 million per salary.
8 million is kind of cheap. Well, now it wouldn't be because I don't. The other part too is if he wins the Super Bowl, he'll be ready to move on to a place where he'll get more catches,
Yeah.
where he'll go back to being the number one or number two guy, where he'll get to be a little more of what he was.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is his
I think this is the
last year.
last
Because
year of a
yeah, because
contract.
his contract was a 2 year, 26 million.
Yeah, and yeah. So then I think you're right. Absolutely. Big basketball game on today, college. Kansas versus K-State in K-State.
Ooh,
Yeah, rivalry game. And Kansas hasn't played very well lately.
nah.
Well, but they're ranked a little bit higher than K-State, I think. So
Well, you're a K State
rivalry.
fan, right?
Yo, yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't like KU at all.
Yeah.
Football and basketball. Don't. Yeah, Dick Jerome died at 74.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah. Other than that, I don't think there's any.
I think that's
Oh,
it. I mean, you have some NBA trades. We'll discuss them next week, I guess. Obviously, the Luca for Davis trade. Uh, I mean, for Dallas, it's a more of a win now trade within the next 2 or 3 years. Luca's going to be the face of the franchise, especially if LeBron retires, which
mm,
expect him to within the next couple of years. Um, Jimmy Butler going to the Warriors uh, because they needed somebody. There is a report out today that Miami had and Phoenix just about had a deal in place for Durant with Jimmy Butler going there, and Miami pulled the plug on that deal. Whether it was last minute or whatever, I don't know. And then, and of course, there was also the report that they were working on something with the Warriors, and Durant said he didn't want to go back to Golden State,
yeah.
which tells you there was. I think that's Durant knowing that he wouldn't be the man still. I really do. I think it's an ego thing. He'll never say it, but
Right.
I think, let's face it, that's Steph Curry's team. And I think Durant knew that it would always be Steph Curry's team until he retires, no matter what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants to be known more of the man or not have the spotlight on him as much. Because if you think about it, Phoenix hasn't, he's putting up numbers, but Phoenix hasn't had great seasons and they're not getting a lot of coverage. He might like that.
Right.
It's, doesn't have to bother. So, um, I think that's all that is about. I'll be curious. Jimmy Butler did sign a 2 year extension to stay in Golden State, supposedly, but I think he has an opt out after, I don't think this year, I think after next year. So it's going to be interesting how him and Draymond work together.
Yeah.
Can they?
two,
Will
two bad attitudes.
two awful attitudes. Uh, if one of them screws up, the other one's going to be in the other's face.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. I think it could be ugly.
yeah. And the weird part about all that is, I think it was was it the Luka trade? No, it is the Jimmy Butler trade that they sent Wiggins, who's younger, to Miami. And
Mhm.
he's younger and he's scoring as many points average wise
Yep.
as Butler.
Yeah. I don't.
Butler's a little more, I think, a little better defensively, or at least can be. But I don't know. That part of it is curious to me because it's not like Golden State's like Dallas or even Oklahoma City. We could win now. This trade, I don't think it's going to get them an NBA championship by itself.
Nah.
Trade away Wiggins, who's younger, and you could put some pieces around him and Steph for as long as he plays,
Mhm.
could long term have been better for you. But same thing, they want to try and get better now. But I don't know. I don't think this is good. I think this will move them up a spot or two for this season. But after that, I don't see it being a
Yeah.
long-term solution.
Yeah. And Doncic, he goes to the team I can't stand. And I'm like,
I
what?
hate the Lakers. I know.
So now it's like, and
I, and
and
I'm
then you got,
already saying I used to like Doncic.
yeah, I used to,
I
now,
used to
but
like Luca, but now,
what gets me
and it's
is
not even his choice.
his dad's pissed off. It's like, dude, he's a pro
He's an NBA
player.
pro player, and
It's
you know he says he's more in shock than anything else. Luca
yeah,
getting over that, but the big point everybody's making is that there's a reason Dallas looked to trade him. Because he is a great player.
mm,
Obviously, they know more than we do. Than anybody on the outside looking in. Big thing is they think he wasn't dedicated enough to keep his body in shape, which is why
mm,
he's hurt all the time. He is a defensive liability. Um, to me, that is figuring out a way to get a good coach in there that is going to say, look, we need to teach you to at least play some passable defense
yeah,
to make the effort, to help us. Uh, because he can put a team on his back offensively and carry them.
oh yeah, no doubt.
And we've seen it. So, yeah, but that now the Lakers are set for at least 10 years.
Mm.
He's the face of their
Well,
franchise.
that way there, you got somebody that, I mean, no matter usually who they have, they're still going to draw. But when
Right.
LeBron goes bye bye, now
Yep.
you got him. So I mean,
Yeah.
I can see the move why the Lakers did it.
Oh, on the Lakers standpoint, I can. For
Yeah,
Dallas, there had to be something behind the scenes because they're the ones that initiated it.
yeah. I think it's probably comes down to money. It really does. I
And
mean,
that could be too.
if you give him all this money and you can't build around him, I mean,
Yeah, because they'd have to give him the max. And
mm,
that's what they didn't want to do.
mm,
Now, even the Lakers don't have to give him a max next year. They might because economically it won't hurt them. Like you said, he's going to be a draw.
mm,
They get a zillion games on TV, even more than they usually do. I feel the same way about the Lakers that I feel about the Cowboys. Uh, maybe not quite as bad, but it's more of a fatigue and it's been that way ever since I was young. I mean, I didn't mind watching them when you had Magic and Worthy and Kareem, uh, the Showtime Lakers.
yeah, yeah,
They were entertaining. I didn't root for them often, but they were. I would at least watch them.
yeah,
I but then again, I'm not into the NBA like I used to be because it's 3-point or dunk.
yeah, yeah.
And if your favorite team is shooting terrible at the 3-point line, like the Sixers, I think, last night or whatever. Even with Embiid in there, I turned it on at one point and it was like a 30-point game. They were getting spanked. Then they lost after having a 30-point lead to Boston the other night, and they lost. Boston in the second half just lit it up, and you knew they were going to at some point. And it was threes from Brown and Tatum, and they just lit it up, and Philly had no answer. And that's with Embiid sitting the bench.
Yeah.
You can't do back to back.
Yeah, I know. It's just
Yeah, it's just so I'm just not into it. It's a three or a dunk on a rebound or a dunk on a lob. Next play. It just doesn't make sense to me.
yeah, it's like schoolyard ball. That's all.
Right. And it's not entertaining to me to watch. So, oh well.
All right.
It's the end of that. We can go into all those and see in a week or two how the teams are starting to look because neither one's playing yet. Luka,
No.
AD,
No.
they won't start till Monday night, it looks like now for each of their teams. So um, I could see the first Lakers Dallas game would be entertaining,
Yeah.
at least in the beginning. Who knows what will happen during the game, but go from there.
Yeah, it should be interesting how him and LeBron go
Ron
on.
work together. Yeah, they're both ball control guys. They both have to have the ball in their hands.
That should
I
be
think the difference is LeBron will facilitate more. Um, he did with Miami a little bit. He did with Cleveland. Whatever it takes. When he had Kyrie Irving, he did that in Cleveland. When he was with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, he did that in Miami, and it got them championships. Um, so I think they'll learn to work together. And then I don't know how much longer LeBron wants to play because at this point he's got enough business ventures he doesn't even need basketball.
yeah.
I think he's at the point where Jordan was.
And his kid's not good, so it ain't like he's going to be able to play with him. I
No,
mean,
he's not going to play much with this kid. His dream to play with him came true.
yeah,
But yeah, and I think once he retires, the kid will be out not long after that anyway. He's
yeah,
not going to get to the point where he's.
nah,
It's a shame because he was pretty good until the heart thing.
yeah.
He had a trajectory, and now I think
Hmm.
plateau. Um, I don't. Cleveland made a big trade, and I think they're going to really be tough in the East. It wouldn't surprise me if it comes down to Cleveland and OKC for the championship.
Yeah, could be. Roger
Cleveland,
be happy.
Boston.
Roger be happy.
Oh, Roger be thrilled to death if it's Cleveland, but we'll see what happens. Uh, if we got nothing else, bud, I think we'll wrap it up. The baseball
Yeah,
ready to start. Pitchers and catchers report, I think, in most places this week. Um, some places, guys are already in there working up, getting
yeah.
ready. That's going to
46,
be
46 days till opening day, I think it
46 days to opening day, baby. Baseball is coming. Is it still America's pastime? We'll debate that someday.
is.
But baseball is a lot of fun. And now that the games are shorter, and I think it'll be good. I still don't want to see robot umpires. So far,
Yeah,
not in
yeah,
yet. But we'll see. Don't get me wrong. Some of these umpires stink, and there is an umpire who's they say banished from baseball, but he can get reinstated in 2 years.
yeah.
I guess he's not really banished.
And he umped a perfect game.
Yeah. And they say when you look at his numbers, Holberg, best ball strike umpire in the game.
Yeah.
So, and they didn't connect him to any betting directly at all. He didn't bet at all, but it was a friend of his who has a company. His name is on the company who
Mm.
bets legally. I don't know if it was DraftKings or Sportsbook, but through a legal sportsbook. But because Hoberg's name is on this thing, he's technically affiliated.
Yeah.
He's technically, quote unquote, banished. So basically, he's got to remove himself from that company and partnership and stay clean. think he could do minor leagues. If not, he could definitely do college or who whatever.
Yeah, I'd screw it. I'd keep my name on there and just do something else.
Hmm. Yeah, if it's worth the money. Yeah. But it all depends. Sometimes this is what you like to do. And he is
Yeah,
good at it. He is the
yeah,
best, they say. Um, so, and they said he can ask for reinstatement in like 2 years. So if he stays busy umpiring and really likes doing it,
yeah,
then you might see him back in a couple of years.
yeah.
But
Hmm.
especially, see, that's the other thing. It's sports problem because sports now in bed with legal gambling changes the whole nature of everything.
Whole thing.
I mean,
Yep.
you had an NBA player who's banished for life. You had because he was directly involved with shaving at least his minutes
Mm-hmm.
a couple years ago. You had the referee when gambling was still illegal. Hurley, I think it was,
Mm-hmm.
out because and I can't remember if he went to prison. I think he got criminally charged.
I think so too.
Um, so you're in bed with these guys. Was it Ridley? The
Yeah,
receiver?
Calvin. Yep.
Calvin
Yep.
Ridley lost what, a year, I think.
Yeah.
Um,
Pete Rose.
yep, Pete Rose, of course, is the example. Paul Hornig in the 60s for the Green Bay Packers, uh, who was a big time running back then, huge, was the number one guy, uh, and was instrumental in the Packers being successful. Got caught gambling, and I don't believe that was on football. I think he was betting on baseball and stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
you're not allowed to bet at all.
Yeah.
Gone for a year. He was out for a year. Um, his career was okay when he came back. He stayed in shape and still had a good career. But yeah, he lost a year of his career and salary.
Right.
Oh, gambling has really changed, I think, people's uh, perspective on how they watch sports.
Mm-hmm.
A lot more people now are outwardly don't care about the end result of the game. Sometimes it's how much did you win by? How many innings did this guy
Yeah.
throw? Is this guy got over 100 yards? All the side bets, which, if you think about it, all got started with illegal betting with Super Bowls, really made side bets as
Yeah.
deal as they are today.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but other than that, our picks final Super Bowl. Billy picks Kansas City 31-20. He thinks that Chiefs defense will have a pretty good day. He even came out and said the reason it's 20 is he thinks that there will be a point after by Philly. Uh, Roger picks Philadelphia across the board. Didn't have a score, but that's okay. He wasn't really expected to. Uh, I am taking Kansas City. Oh, man, this is hard for me.
You're not
I
gonna change your mind already that quick, are
No, I'm not. I'm hanging on. Kansas City 34, Philly 31. Um, and for those of you that don't know, I've rooted for both teams since I was a little kid. That's why it's a very tough game for me. As far back as I can remember, I've been a Chiefs fan and an Eagles fan. Eagles because that's where I grew up. Chiefs, I think it started with rooting against the Raiders, and it's because my dad liked the Raiders and I
Mm-hmm.
like my dad. So I think that's how it started, to be honest with you. I can't remember for sure, but um,
Well,
yeah,
I hope you,
assholes.
yeah, I hope I have your problem one day would be the Colts and the Commanders, but
Yeah, yeah, that would be. But then again, I know you're saying I don't know, but I never thought this would happen. I really never did for either team.
yeah,
Um, Eagles had a time period when they were really sucked, and so did the Chiefs. And within 3 or 4 years, both of them have gotten to this point.
yeah,
So, and it wouldn't surprise me to see them both here again next year the way they are. But yeah, Billy's taking KC. I'm taking KC. Rogers taking Philly. The point spread is one as of right now. Um, that's it. Enjoy all the grub. Enjoy the commercials. I've seen the previews for some of them. Some of them do look pretty funny. Uh, and so you get to see them again. If you've there is a thing on YouTube. You'll get to see some of them if you want, or if you want to wait till game time. Problem with waiting for the game is if you're with people or at a party, you're going to get so distracted, you might miss a good one. Uh, you never know. Sometimes commercials are the most entertaining part of the whole thing.
Hmm.
I will personally skip halftime. That's me personally. I'm not saying anything about anything. I usually, no matter who it is, skip halftime. Uh, but I
Yeah,
just,
I usually don't watch it either. I
and I
go.
do that with every game, to be honest with
Yeah,
you. That's
every
the time to
punishment
take the
play.
dog out, enjoy a little extra grub, talk to your
Yeah,
friends, drink a beer and talk
go
shit,
go
or
to
even talk
bathroom.
about the first half, whatever.
Yeah,
But uh, so halftime, not a big thing for me. But I think it's gonna be a great game. We'll see what happens. Billy
yeah.
again picks the Chiefs. I pick the Chiefs. Roger picks the Eagles. Um, it's been a great season, everybody. We're glad that you've tuned in. We're going to get out of here. We will have more from the cheap seats shows coming up. They won't probably be every week, but we will continue every so often whenever a big sports news breaks or whenever we think it's time to update what's going on. It's going to get into NBA and Major League Baseball and college basketball pretty soon. Uh,
Hmm.
so those things will be jumping out at us as well as maybe WNBA will get started up soon too.
Yeah, MLS starts in March.
MLS starts in March. NHL's going strong. So it's getting ready. Almost time for March Madness uh, for the NCAA men's basketball and women's basketball. So sports itself is going to kick in pretty good, but we admit that our focus has been on football for the last 4 months, 5 months, and tomorrow is the culmination of all of it for this year.
Yeah,
So enjoy the games, everybody. Enjoy the snacks. Enjoy the commercials. If you like halftime, enjoy that. Uh, Interesting stories and bylines. And
yeah,
what happens is, of course, the winners' stories will all come out and they'll be tear jerking and all that stuff.
yeah. And good luck on your betting. Win some money.
That's right. Win some money. Uh, I know if you followed us, you didn't lose. That's a good thing. Um, So, and again, Bill and I were within percentage points of each other again, as we always are. Um,
Hmm.
Two different views. Bill uses numbers. I use eye test, and it usually comes out pretty close to even at the end of the
Hmm.
year. So, have a great week, everybody. Hope you enjoy the Super Bowl, Super Bowl 59, or some are saying Super Bowl LIXX, LIXX, in Roman numerals. Um, I think Travis Kelce was one of them that started that. I really do. I was watching the buy. It's Super Bowl licks. Oh no, it was Gronk in a commercial.
Oh, Gronk, yeah.
Gronk in a commercial said Super Bowl licks, and then Kelsey and a few other people took off with it, and it's kind of funny. So, but thanks, folks, for joining us. We will talk to you soon. We The next time will probably be a quick wrap up show and a review of the game and a review of whatever else is going on in the world of sports.
Let's say thank you to our friend Dennis.
Yes,
All right.
and I have it right in front of me, so there's no excuse for me this time around. So, Dennis, please forgive me. Um, our pal Dennis and Graldi, I did have it in front of me. Where did I put it? At Vineland Realty Corporation in Vineland, New Jersey, sponsors everything we do on Public John, and we're getting ready to ramp up the old Public John podcast, which people have been contacting me about to do lately. Um, Bill was a part of that as well, and probably will be on occasion again. Um, Vineland Realty Corporation's at 634 East Landis Avenue in Vineland, New Jersey. Their phone number 856-690-9482. Make sure that if you have a residential or business property need, whether renting, selling, buying, leasing, or just need some advice in the realty world for something you're doing, get a hold of Dennis and the crew down at Vineland Realty Corporation. his gal Friday. Helen is down there and she'll steer you in the right direction as well. Again, all your South Jersey realty needs. We thank Dennis for helping us out. What's this? Our end of our fourth year doing
I
this
think
show.
so. Yeah, I
Yeah.
believe so.
And I think 5 or 6 years of starting out with the Public John podcast and media stuff. Uh, looks like Public John Radio may be coming on soon. Definitely going to kick up a couple things. We've got cooking up a murder podcast coming out pretty soon. So Dennis sponsors all of these things, and we thank him for that. It's Vineland Realty Corporation, 634 East Landis Avenue in Vineland, New Jersey. Again, their phone number 856-690-9482. If they can't help you, they have resources that will find somebody to help you. So for all your realty needs, we thank Dennis and the folks down there. Thanks, Bill, for reminding me.
Yep.
I would have been kicking myself in the nether regions with a pair of cowboy boots pointed for the rest of the day if you hadn't said something. So thanks, Dennis. For Roger, we thank Roger for coming on this season and helping us out. For my pal Billy Smith, bad boy Bill, feel better, buddy, and I hope everything goes well at the other end as well.
Thank
Uh,
you. I appreciate it, pal.
your family, um, anytime. We just hope things go as well as they can. So for all of us and all of our friends and all of you, this is the end of the football season. We'll be back soon from the cheap seats. And boy, well, thank God we didn't spend any money on them, Bill. Have a great week, everybody. Enjoy the game. Whether you're a Chiefs or Eagles fan, it should be a lot of fun. Goodbye, everybody.
Take care.